I touch upon these best practices when I go through different parts in my slide. However, there's a few things I want to, emphasize on. Again, is on the broad targeting, right? Like it's very important to go from like broad to narrow down later. Yeah.
Okay.
Or another thing that I haven't mentioned, which are the seasonality uh, factor, right? So let's say if you are running campaign for, gamings, especially for gaming, then take into consideration about the.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of ROI 101. Today, we're diving into how hybrid game studios can avoid the most common and costly mistakes when running Google Ads. I'm your host, Tabarak, and I'm excited to be joined by Trin from Google. Trin, it's really great to have you here. Could you start by telling us a bit about yourself?
Thank you, Tabarak. It's my pleasure to be here, and thank you for inviting me representing Google in this podcast. My name is Jin, and for those who hasn't known me yet, I have been working in app marketing, app technology for the last 10 years, supporting multiple app developer, marketer in South Asia, Pakistan, ANZ market. And early this year, I joined Google. So to continue my missions of helping app developer to grow and scale their business, especially using Google solutions.
Nice. Thanks,
Yes.
Trin. I think we first met when we at Tenjin published this Pakistani report, like on
Yes.
Pakistani gaming studios, and you reached out, and we've been in touch since then and talking about doing this podcast. So it's really great to have you here. Yeah, so to get started, we've put together some slides that touch upon some of the most important topics regarding Google Ads, such as best practices regarding ROAS campaigns, the most common mistakes you see studios making, and advice from Trin, who is, of course, the expert for new studios launching Google Ads campaigns. So let's get started. Trin, I know you've prepared some slides, so maybe you could share your screen with us.
For sure. So I do hope that throughout our sharing today, it may beneficial for your app performance. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Trin. Okay, so our first question for you, Trin, is what best practices can help studios maximize performance with Google Ads, especially if they're running or using ROAS campaigns?
Well, I think this is the questions I get asked a lot throughout my, not only in my Google life, but also before even joining Google, right? And I think before I jump into answer these questions, I do think that we should touch upon the fundamentals, which will be beneficial game app studio in long term when they understand these, you know, basic, yeah, these foundation. Yeah. So first of all, you may know that every app has different life cycle, and for each life cycle, each stage of their life cycle, there will be different acquisition goals, right? So as you can see here, there's like around like four main stage, including launch, intermediate, growth, and mature. So let's take launch for example, right? At this early stage, your primarily mission will be focused on how to grow your customer base, drive the conversion, and engage, user. So that's why it's very important to acquire more user at this point in time. So the app campaign solution suitable the most will be the app campaign for install. However, when your apps are getting more mature, right, and toward the scale and growth, their mission will be different, I believe. So you will not only want to acquire more user, but you want to acquire the more valuable user, right? The user who have potential to engage and become your loyal customer. So that will be the time where you should use like app campaign for actions or app campaign for ROAS. And this will be the stage where it's performed the most and helping you scale to what you are expecting.
Right.
Yeah. All right. And very important as well to touch upon the key elements or the three levers when you are launch and optimize your app campaign. So I do believe that there's to be successful for app campaign, there are three main components here, which including the bid strategy, the creatives, and definitely the measurement part that we can touch upon that later. For bid strategy, right? As I mentioned before, for each stage, you have to define what is the most important objective for your app campaign. If it's early stage, definitely install. However, toward like more scale and growth stage, then ROAS or purchases is what you should looking for. And about creative, right? Like creative is especially for game developer. This creative is something you have to be carefully follow up with the latest update with the best practices, and not only using one type of format, but have to use multiple ad formats, including images, video, yeah, to maximize the performance. Yeah, and as I mentioned, for measurement, I will talk about it later. For the creative, these are the creative asset mix for maximize the performance that we are recommending. So as you can see here, for text, images, and video, we are recommended like for one ad group, right? These are number of ads of images and video that we recommend. Not only come with one size, but multiple size, so that when the ad display on their inventory, they can find the suitable ad format and size to display to your audience. Yeah, and definitely go with their high quality as creative. Yeah.
Right. Trini, I just had a couple of questions regarding the last slide. So you mentioned, like, obviously these three levers go together, but would you recommend like one over the other, or you think all three are absolutely necessary, like the same amount or the same way?
It's very good questions. I have, to be honest, I haven't seen any app campaign successful without one or two missing one or two elements here. So definitely these three come hands in hands, and I would say quite like equally important. Yeah. Right? Like let's say if you're not able to measure your success well or define your goal and measure that, track that throughout the user journey, then how you can optimize, right? Or let's say if your bid strategies, you focus on ROAS very early on and not pull out the data at the early stage, pull out the data, the signal at the early stage, then how you can feed their data to the algorithm and ramp up quickly. Yeah. Or even you have two element bid strategies and measurement. However, your creatives is not stand out enough, right? So it can be exhausted, and then your competitor will, if they are come up with more appealing creatives, then definitely you easily losing the battles. So I would say it's hard to choose which one is more important than the other. So I do recommend their app developer to, like balance the and when they are building their marketing team, they should look into the factor to choose the right people, having the right mindsets to helping them success. Yeah.
Do you think, like, at the moment, from what you observe, that what do studios neglect from these three levers the most?
I would say I can pick for each lever here. One
Mm-hmm.
of the thing that they neglect the most from
Mm-hmm.
this strategy, very obvious that a lot of developer want to ramp up quickly and running ROAS even before they having the install or enough in-app event to optimize. So I
Okay.
think that's the thing they neglect. For creative, a lot of time they are missing the video part. I know that it's quite time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think with AI and with all of the tool right now to
Mm-hmm.
spy the competitor or getting their best images or quality,
Mm-hmm.
definitely should leverage the video part. Yeah, especially for Google, right? And for game developer running on Google Ads, should leverage their short video, so the portrait type of video to
Mm-hmm.
maximize the performance. And for the performance, for the measurement, I would say the part that I see is a lot of app developer over tend to be overlooking is like not to the right event to measure. Yeah,
Right.
not like understand the user flow good enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
To track what is their most and define the most important enough event for them. It's like there throughout their life cycle.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Thank you. I very good questions
Mm-hmm.
again. And then one thing, right? I right now, as you say, we heard a lot about AI, right? Or the latest company or the tech company now become AI companies.
Right.
So, the thing that I do believe that AI can help us the most is that they have that scalability, right? Like before, app developer they had to manually to and select the right country targeted to the right country from the beginning. However, with the AI factor that we have right now, if you fitting the right signal, the accent, the content, context and intent, plus providing enough sets of creative, then we can mix that together and distribute to the right inventory and find the right user for your app. So it's very important to leverage the AI and running the campaign at the global scale. If you do exporting, and then from there narrow down to the country that perform, perform, and then from there you can optimize and choose the right countries or set of region to target it to.
Right.
Right. So to summarize, I think I touched upon these best practices
Mm-hmm.
when I go through different parts in my slide. However, there's a few things I want to, emphasize on. Again, is on the broad targeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very important to go from like broad to narrow down later. Yeah.
Okay.
Or another thing that I haven't mentioned, which are the seasonality uh, factor, right? So let's say if you are running campaign for, gamings,
Mm-hmm.
especially for gaming, then take into consideration about the seasonality factor. Testing around this time, and right now when we are going toward the end of the year, which is have a lot of holiday, then definitely building set up campaign and embrace the seasonal testing cycle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And against like ROAS, right? Like shouldn't set up too tight from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
To
to
feed the data. Yeah.
Mhm. So towards the end of the year, when people have more holidays, do they see like an increase in performance because they have more time? People have more time to play games, for example.
Yeah, I think it's both from the demands and the supply side, right?
Yeah.
So from the and also from the user as well. So from the user point of view, that is the time where you have, rest time, and definitely you will want to entertain yourself, right? So I would say user need to spend more time with the gaming. Is definitely there.
Yeah.
Plus uh, other advertiser, right? Like e-commerce, travel. That also the busiest season for them. So definitely they want to cap out the season and promoting their product. So that's why I do think it's multiple factor. And yeah, most of the time we see end of the year is the busiest season, and
Right.
the app developer should watch out for that.
Right. Nice.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, we're at question number 2. What are the most common mistakes you see studios making when running Google Ads campaigns, especially in emerging markets like Pakistan?
For you want me to have the short answer or the long answer?
Maybe
The short,
both.
yeah. So the short answer is simple. With everything is go against the best practices will be the mistake, right?
Right.
But to break it down into detail, I think here's are a few common mistake. Most common mistake that I have observed in growing market, emerging market like Pakistan. So it's standing from market business perspective, right? A lot of company want to be ROI positives in an early stage. So that's why they want to fixate on specific CPI, right? They want to be like only 0.001 in in when they are running the CPI campaign. I would say that is something shouldn't be shouldn't be fixated, I would say.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
depends on whether they are focused on tier one markets or like tier two market. Then they should have research about the market range and research about their competitor to set a realistic CBI and to have like sufficient amount of install. Yeah,
Right.
and also thinking long term as well. So I think it's very important. Yeah. And then the second point I mentioned here is not having a clear goals against, right? If you are in early stage, thinking about, having more signal, getting more user is more important than to be, running TOS and getting like 80 or 90%, right? Because you might able to have user when you put like high TOS. However, thinking of your product, right? Thinking of to be successful, it's not only marketing but also the product piece as well.
Right.
So you have to continuously like enhance your product, yeah, to have like a good retention rate on day 1, day 7, day 30. It's
Yeah.
also important too. Yeah. And another mistake that have observed, which is put insufficient learning budget. So I see our company, a lot of app developer, they put the budget is like $5-10 per day. Uh, I mean, that is maybe their strategy too. However, if you put very low budget in early stage, then the system or the platform will need extra time to learn to collect data. So have to be very careful on that. And I do recommend putting around like at least $50 to $100 per
Yeah.
day uh, for your campaign to ramp up quickly. Yeah.
Okay.
And definitely leave it some time too. Like, depends on how you perceive the market. Let's say if it's like you need 30 day, at least to put learning time for like at least 15 to 20 day. Yeah, rather than like focus on capping out very early. Um, and the last one, right? The last one, again, I want to mention about the creative, right? Like there should be a sometimes there's a mismatch here from what they thinking the user will into.
Mhm.
So instead of not really align with their audience, so continuously update their creative,
Mhm.
and also like for this seasonality, right?
Yeah.
You should like update the creative that relevant to your audience.
Right. So
Yeah.
if I had to summarize what you've just said, and maybe you can add or correct me if I'm wrong, you see that, in these emerging markets that people are fixating too much on short-term goals and not, being patient enough to look at metrics like LTV or retention, and maybe not really like listening to their audience and not looking at the data and not optimizing creatives accordingly. So those would be the main that would be the main message you have, right?
Yeah, definitely. And thank you for the summary. I think it captured very well what I have mentioned here.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's right. These are the tactical part of how you set up the campaign, how you run the campaign, right? But as you
Mhm.
mentioned, the mindset is very important, right?
Right.
The short-term mindset will definitely hurt you in the long term.
Right.
So think in long term.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, so how can game developers better optimize for ROAS campaigns with Google? And can it work with hybrid monetization, just in-app purchases and ads?
Yeah. So thank you for the questions. And for this one, I think we have touched upon how to better optimize the ROAS campaign with Google, right, at the first answer.
Mhm.
So I would say again, it have to it back to the basic, right? You have to set up everything accurately from the beginning,
Right.
leave time for learning phase, and
Mhm.
then like set the right target and optimize accordingly. I think there, for me, you may success if you try shortcut in one or two campaign,
Mhm.
but to successful in long term,
Mhm.
definitely follow the best practices that we have recommend. So to be very transparent, right? For TOS for can work very well for hybrid model on Android for now, and for iOS is in the journey of updating. So keep as the developer, and if you are running iOS, definitely keep watching out what is roll out in the next 1 or 2 quarter. However, right now, if you're running IAP or IA only on iOS, then it's already for TRS campaign is already generally available. Yeah. And another tips is, for TRS to run effectively, you definitely need to pass their ad revenue to Google. Plus, start with the max install or value campaign before you narrow to into the TOS. Yeah, I think it's another 2 cents that I want to mention here.
Got it. And what advice do you have for new studios launching their first Google Ads campaigns?
Uh, yeah. So for new studio to launch their first ads campaign, I do think sometimes it can be overwhelming, right? Uh, but here's are the few advice that I think can be valuable for the one who first start running campaign with Google. Yeah, so first of all, don't rush the campaign. Yeah, I want to emphasize this point. Yeah, because a lot of time, app developer they start running campaign and they want to be ROI positive. So it can be very easily frustrated with the result, right? So bear in mind that for older platform to learn and optimize and to scale, yeah, invest in the learning first, having the user first, having the data fit in first before you scale up. And second part here is to, allocate the sufficient amount of budget for the learning phase. And mentioned before, it should be around $50 to $100 per day for at least two weeks. Yeah, and if you are running like mid-core or casual game, the learning phase may take longer. Yeah, so be realistic of what you are setting. And yeah, also ensure that you passing the conversion, you are set up the conversion tracking properly through with SDK or through mobile measurement platform. Yeah. And then again, think of your audience, right? Think of your user first. Build up your creative value proposition and the onboarding flow to maximize or to deliver their. And then and the last thing is to think of your audience first. Yeah, including your creative, your value proposition, and the entire onboarding flow. So to deliver the best experience to your user. For the technical part, right? These here are the three easy steps to start with Google Ads. First of all, the creative assets. Even before you run the campaign, thinking of build up your creative assets is very crucial, right? And as I mentioned, right, we not only come up with one type of assets, but should including the text, the images, and the video, yeah, to max out their performance. And definitely on the tracking and the measurement part, it's very important to set up your Firebase. Make sure your Firebase, or if you are using app attribution partner or measurement partner, make sure that you set up correctly. And then after that, the basic, back to the basic, which are including Google Ads account, billing setup, and align your goal and the KPI with the campaign management collaboration. Yeah.
Got it. And why do you recommend studios to use an MMP or an app attribution partner when scaling their UA with Google Ads?
Yeah, so thank you for the questions. And I mentioned from the beginning, right, there are three important levers when you are consider running campaign, not only with Google, but with any other partner, which including the bidding strategy, the creative set, and the measurement part. So why Google, right? Google Firebase already good enough, right? However, if you want to scale up in long term, I do think that if you are also thinking of if they are having another layer of data, right, to fitting into Google platform, so you collect more signal data to optimize with your. I think the ultimate goal here is to helping you deliver the best campaign. Yeah. So here you can see that Google have integrated with different type of tracking methods. So including Android Colas install tracking, plus their Firebase and the app attribution partners. And to be more specific about my points, right? I think what are the things that MMP or AAP can edit here is to ensure that we get more data point and connect all the monetization data into one place, yeah, including IA, IAB subscription. And like if you are running TRS campaign or value-based bidding, NMB, it can also help you to be more scalable as well. Yeah. And again, like you can use tracking to compare the data and have a holistic view of where user come from and optimize accordingly. Yeah.
Right. So just to reiterate, so even though Google Ads is a self-attribution or attributing network, of course, you would recommend that if studios really want to scale, then an MMP is the way to go because you can see like your multi-channel tracking data. So if you're, advertising on different channels, you get a more holistic view. And also it connects all your monetization data. And yes, again, like you mentioned the point about event tracking, that MMPs make this scalable. So even though it's enough to use Google Ads as an attribution, self-attributing network, you can benefit from an MMP if you want to scale long term.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes app developer, especially app developer at early stage, they have the confusion, right? Whether Firebase is good enough or should have an MMB. I would say it's just they like partner together, right? To provide more data point and helping you to scale. Yeah, thinking of the ultimate goal here, and depends on your scale stage. Yeah, you can choose what are the best tool sets that can help you to grow. Yeah. All right. And for Google Ads and Tenjin, right? Also a lot of time, right? A lot of app developer asking me what are the benefits if they running both Google Ads and Tenjin. Yeah. So just emphasize on the previous point that we have mentioned, right? Like Tenjin definitely can help to consolidate the AIP and the AII's data, which will make easier to feed the value signal into Google as well. Yeah, and also if any app developer refer to Google, yeah, it's also a signal for us to know that their app developer is really serious about scaling and grow and measure their performance. So through that, we can help them to audit the campaign market, provide market insight, and optimize suggestion. Yeah, and on the Google Ads side, so I'm now representing the Google Ads side. We have a specific campaign which called Digital Accelerator Program for app developer, especially app developer from Pakistan. Because I work with this market and I have seen app developer in this market have been very aggressive and want to learn more. And definitely with the support from Google, right? I do believe that we can have your team success with Google and using other platform and using a partner as well. So for this program, there will be 3 stages here, with including understand about your business, your set of strategy, and define the goal, and then launch and plus the advance your strategy to help you maximize the performance with Google. Yeah. So if you are interested about this program, then you can scan this QR code and fill in the form, and through that form we will contact you, and if it's the right fit for our program, then we can support you and onboard you to this program and helping your team. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Trin. This has been a very insightful talk. And thanks to everyone for listening in. If you have any questions for Trin, please leave them in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed our content, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for similar content. Thanks again, Trin. It was really nice to have you in our episode.
Yeah, thank you, Tabarak. Yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you for having this podcast. I think it's going to be very useful for a lot of app developer out there. And definitely looking for more episodes coming from your team.
Thanks, Trin, for sure.